Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for stopping by to check out my latest video. And today I'm continuing to work on the full deck challenge hosted by Shanuki Art here on YouTube. And today's prompt is junk. And so I pulled out some various junk to decorate my altered card, and I will show you what I'm going to start with. I did pull out here's some packaging from some sort of scrapbooking embellishments, but I like the polka dots on it, so I pulled that one out. I also pulled out this little tag that had like a model number and like checker and a number on it, thinking I could maybe use that. I have an envelope that I had received in some Happy Mail, and again, I thought the envelope was pretty, so I kept it thinking I could use it, and of course it matches the polka dots on there. I also have a piece of an envelope, junk mail envelope, that I must have cut off the other half, and I had plans for this, maybe to make a pocket or something, but I thought the gray might match the pink okay. I also have a little like doily that was used. I kept it. Again, I think I had like a teacup or something on it at some like church function or something like that that was used, so I kept that. I did find in a magazine that I recently picked up for free at the thrift store, somebody had used these little like advertising. There is, you know, some pieces left on the side. It looks like a person, some sort of advertising that they'd use as bookmarks, but I thought I could maybe use one of these images as some sort of focal point. And I'm kind of leaning towards this gal right here. I don't really like that there's like she's watering teacups, but I might be able to cover that up. So there I have that. I also grabbed, sometimes I save off of the end of like scrapbooking paper. Sometimes the little like name of the paper or brand, sometimes they have like edges with quotes on them. And so I did pull out two of those. I saved them in my thinking I could use one of those. And then again, another junk mail envelope that I stamped on, because again, one of our items is a constant, which for me is this rubber stamp. So I did stamp around this window thinking maybe I could incorporate the window somehow into my altered card. So those are what I'm going to start with. Oh, and then I also have this too, and I'd saved this. This was wrapped around like something that I bought, whether it was kitchen towels or something. You can even still see the glue marks on it. But I was thinking again, I could maybe somehow cut it up and use part of it, or maybe just use the bow to cover up those teacups that I don't like. So we'll just kind of see what happens. And then if I decide not to use one of these quotes here, I do have like some tea bag quotes. Sometimes when you do tea bags, they have on little labels, and this Good Earth brand has, which I kind of see quote right here that I like. This one says, "Do more of what makes you happy." So a little quote that I think maybe I could use on my my altered playing card. Oh, here's an Audrey Hepburn one too, so maybe I'll pull that one out too. Just not quite sure what I want to do yet. So let me find my card. And the first thing I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and just trim this gal out, because I think she's the one that I want to use. Just since all my other elements are kind of pink. I think that, or most of the elements are pink, I think she might be the one that I want to use. So I'm just going to cut her down a little bit here. And I'm going to cut this envelope in half here. This one came from like an AARP advertising thing to my husband in the mail. I can see it says happy birthday, so he must have got it on around his birthday month or something. So let's just cut this down. I haven't tried it. I want to see if that gal fits in the envelope window or not. So let's... Yeah, she fits it, you know, pretty good up on the top part. And since my card is not that big, you know, I could even almost... Just trying to see where I could make this fit. You know, maybe I don't even need to use the window envelope. I can just use part of the... Because I kind of want to make her the focal point. And I might have more stuff than what I really need on here that I picked out to use. And then also we're supposed to have one item, which I didn't mention, that we used on the previous card or something that carried over. And I had cheesecloth on the other one. And that was just the scrap that I had cut off from the other piece that I layered behind the butterfly the other week. So, it's, you know, not really junk, but it was a leftover piece from last week's card. So let's just, I'm just going to try and glue her down on the sides here. Just see where we're at, if I can use it or not here. And I think I'm going to have to take, at the end, I'm going to sew around it with my sewing machine. So I might not even need all these pieces. I'm thinking, you know, maybe I'll use this as a tab off of the side. And I can put the cheesecloth maybe behind it. So yeah, let's glue this down. I think I'm just going to use the bottom half of this, so I'm going to cut it right here. So I might be able to put that there when I'm done. Let's add a couple of these other pieces. I like the idea of using these as like something that she's watering, possibly. Just these flowers are a little big, but just seeing if any of these pieces kind of fit on here. Or I could just cover up the whole bottom. Yeah, maybe we'll just do that, I think. So I think I'm going to cut off the top part that says Good Earth here. And the little quote underneath it says, do more what makes you happy. And I think I like that. So I think I'm going to layer that underneath this piece right here. And I still feel like I'm missing something. Well, let's get these glued down first, and then let's take another look at it. Just seeing if I can put one more layer maybe underneath here. No, I didn't really like that, so I'll just scrap that idea. What about if I were to add another little flower? Yeah, let's maybe do that. Yeah, when you start these, you never know what it's gonna end up looking like, because most of the time I don't always have a plan. I just have ideas of what pieces I might want to use. But that's what's kind of fun about these, just seeing what they end up turning into, I guess. So I like that flower. So maybe we can add that here. And then add this other smaller one behind it somehow. Do something like that. And make this one down a little bit smaller maybe. Yeah, let's do that. So I don't think I'm going to use this at all unless I suppose I could layer that up behind here. Just to use it. Let's just fold this one in half and cut it in half and see what that looks like. I think I need it on the right hand side, so let's go ahead and add that. I'm going to put a little bit of, there's like a couple layers in here, so I'm just going to glue some of the, there's like some tissue layers, so I'm just going to glue some of these together here first, just so they somewhat stay together. I guess the back piece didn't want to stay on. It's like a little wax paper. Alright, so I like that. I don't know if adding a bow to it is too much or not. Or if that'll just add a little bit more interest. Or if maybe I add just a layer of well, let's just cut this here for a second. Because I could add, I just feel like I need a little bit more color or something in here. So yeah, I could glue that down behind there, and then I could glue a little piece of this underneath the tag. I think I can still lift that up. It's not fully dried yet, so let's do that. So it looks like my camera battery is going to die, and I'm still working on getting glue out. So I am going to glue this underneath here, and glue this right here. And then I am going to go and take it around my sewing machine, and then I will be back to show you exactly what it looks like, but here's what it looks like so far. So I will be back after I'm done with those couple steps. So here's what it looks like so far. I did end up putting a little bit of that ribbon right here and along the bottom and right here on the side. And then I did some black stitching with the zigzag stitch on these two sides, and then I just kind of did a straight stitch over here. And then I thought to finish it up, I just grabbed my scrap black laces, because I figured I needed just a little bit more contrast over here in the corner. And so I'm going to glue those down. And then I'm going to, I had another little flower left over from that envelope that I had cut out. So I'm going to just glue this on top. And I think I like this layout a lot better now that I've added the stitching and this little extra black thread that was, you know, I had cut off from the ends. And I think that'll work. So again, this week's challenge was junk, and I think I use everything on here that was pretty much junk, or, you know, came off of junk mail or envelopes. And I'm not going to make a Rolodex card this week. Next week's theme is paper weaving. So instead of reusing some of these pieces that I didn't use, I still have this other part of the envelope. I think I'm going to use that for some paper weaving, and then I'll carry over the junk theme again for next week. So I'm just going to hold on to these scraps instead of making a Rolodex card. And I will see you guys back again next week for another episode. But I am, you know, fairly happy with the way this one turned out. You guys will have to let me know what you think. And until next week, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day and happy crafting.